Hey guys, welcome to the 5th Java tutorial. This video we're going to cover MoreString, which is week 2, exercise 5. So let's read the description. So given a user inputted string, print out a new string where big has been added to the front of the inputted string. However, if the inputted string already begins with big, then print out the input string unchanged. Okay. The objective: write a Java program called MoreString that prompts the user to enter a string, print out to the screen a new string where big has been added in front of the input string. However, if the input string already begins with big, print out the input string unchanged. Okay, so we have to do a few things here. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to ask the user to input their string. So we're going to ask them for an animal. Then what we need to do is we need to check if the string has big in it. After that, once we know if it contains big or not, then we're going to say, well, if it does contain big, we want to print the old string. But if it doesn't, then what we want to do is put big in front of it. Okay? So, how are we going to do this? Well, the first thing we need to do is we're going to need the scanner to get the user input. So we're going to import the scanner, java.util.scanner. Okay, scanner, and my input equals new scanner system.in. Okay, so now we need to ask them to enter in something. So we're going to ask them to enter in an animal's type of animal. Enter in an animal. Okay. And then what we're going to do is get the data that they entered. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to declare it as a string. We're going to do it all in line. String animal equals my input dot next line. Okay. So like before, when we had next int, we're taking everything on the line. Okay, so now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So we have to check if the string contains big. So how are we going to do that? Well, we know that big is going to come before the name of the animal. So if the user enters in, let's say, big cat, then we know that it's going to be the first 3 letters of the word. So we need to take the first 3 letters of the string, and we need to check and see if they are the same as big. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to use a function called, or a method called Substring. And how we use that is we're going to declare a new variable, string, and we're going to call it, let's just call it Substring. Okay, and then we're going to say, well, we have the input, so we're going to take the input, and then what we want to do is we want the substring of it. So we're going to use the substring method. Now, if you don't know how to use the substring method, you can go to the Java API and type in substring, and you should be able to find it with a list of examples of how to use it. So we're going to say, well, let's just type in big cat again. Well, we know that the first 3 letters are what we want. So we're going to say, well, start from 0, which will be here, and count 3 spaces after. So 1, 2, 3, and we want those 3. If we wanted, let's say, the last 3, we'd say, and we knew the length of the string, we'd say the length of the string in here, and then we'd put our other figure, or we'd put the length of the string in here, and then how many characters we want. So we want the first 3, so we have that in here, and we'll just save there. Okay, so we have our substring. Now, we now have the first 3 letters of whatever the word is. So what we can do now is we can say, well, if what the user enters, so which we've already says is well, we can just check if substring is equal to big, because we've already declared substring as the first 3 letters of the word. So we can just say if substring, so str dot equals big, then we want to say system.out.println animal. Okay, so what have we done here? Well, we came along and we asked the user to enter in an animal. If the user enters in an animal and it's like big cat, well then our substring method here will take the first 3 letters of it, and it checks to see here if the substring that's been if substring, the first 3 characters of the word, is equal to big, well then we'll print out whatever they entered. Okay, so we're printing out the old string here, which is what they entered. But if it doesn't, we want to print out a different string, system.out.println. We want to say big plus animal. Okay, so we've entered in, the user enters in the name of the animal. If the first 3 letters, are then taken and stored to this variable. Okay, so if the first 3 letters are equal to big, then we know that it does contain big, and we want to print what they entered. So we're just going to print out big animal, and we're not going to add on big to it down like we did down here. So if it doesn't put big in front of it, so this will be false. So if the first 3 letters aren't equal to big, then we want to put the new string in front of it, which will be big animal. Let's put a space in there as well. Okay, so let's run this, compile and run. Okay, no errors. Enter in an animal. Let's put in big cat first. Okay, so it checked and noticed that there was big in front of it, so it just printed out big cat again, and it didn't add on another big in front of it. If we run it again and type in just cat, well, then it added on big to the front of it because it checked and saw that the first 3 letters didn't contain big, so we need to add big on in front of it. Okay, Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and hope it helped. I'll put a link up to the last video for week 2, hopefully today, and it should be in the description. Thanks.